Hi, Jane. It's good to see you again. How are you doing today?
Hi. Honestly, like this past week has been like super overwhelming. It was midterms, but it seemed like a lot like almost more overwhelming than normal. Like last finals week, I definitely got like a lot of test anxiety, but it just like this week just seemed like it was more than just like tests that were stressing me out. It was
hmm
definitely like I don't know, just like a mixture of like overwhelming and anxious feelings, which I never like. Usually it's like very controllable for me if it's just test anxiety.
hmm
But I don't know, it just seemed like a lot and it was just like really confusing for me because I usually can like kind of have hold of like my feelings and emotions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad you're here today. Do you think you could maybe try and describe where you feel that anxiety in your body physically?
Yeah, it's definitely it varies, I'd say, throughout the day. Like right now I can kind of feel it in my chest, but I definitely can feel it in my stomach at times or even like my throat. Like I kind
hmm
of feel like choked up almost, but like it's not like I would like cry about it or anything like that. Like
Yeah,
it just feels like anxiety like kind of coming up.
totally. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I just want to like bring awareness to that because emotions and the physical feelings that sometimes come with it, it's just our body signaling to us that something might be wrong. So it's always good to just take a minute when we're noticing that and maybe try and like think about what could be causing that. So do you remember like a specific instance throughout this last week or maybe like a reoccurring event that kept happening that was causing this anxiety or maybe causing it to peak a little bit?
Yeah, like this past weekend, me and my boyfriend just kind of got into a fight, and in the past, like we've had like it's kind of come up more. Um, like I'd say like last month there was a time when he like canceled plans and it was just like kind of super abrupt and it just like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like anything that like I thought that was like a big deal at the time, but I kind of feel like after like this past fight, it kind of just seemed like it was like almost built up where I didn't like completely get out all my emotions whenever I was talking to him the first time like something happened about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, basically he just kind of like blew me off and it kind of made me just like feel like other things were like a priority to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it just I kind of came at him and like made him feel like I definitely just like kind of like went at him and I feel like it wasn't something that like he deserved, but
Yeah.
it's just like how I felt in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know, like it definitely just made me feel like I wasn't a priority and things or like wasn't like the his
Yeah.
number one at the time.
Yeah. Um, so something I'm noticing you doing while you're talking about all of this is you're bringing your hand to your face, almost covering it. Can you maybe do that hand motion again?
Yeah, just
Just doing that. Okay,
mhm.
so what do you think your body is signaling by doing that hand motion? Like, what do you think your body language is conveying? What message do you think
I
you're
don't
doing?
I don't know, maybe like definitely just like kind of uncomfortable talking about it.
Mhm.
Maybe like almost like being like protective or kind of like
Yeah,
trying to like hide my emotions or something.
yeah, totally. I think everything you said, it makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I understand why that is bringing on some anxiety. And of course, like, canceled plans are always frustrating and can always make us feel sort of second best or not prioritize. Obviously, the circumstances might be more justified than others. Um, but you did mention the word like maybe a little bit protective over what you're saying. Do you know maybe why like this topic or maybe even the feelings that come with it are making you feel a little defensive?
Yeah, I in the past like during my childhood like my mom was an alcoholic and it definitely like I feel like it kind of was like a realization to me this weekend that it was just like a reoccurring feeling of like maybe not being like good enough or like something was always like more prioritized than me.
Mm,
um I don't know, like it definitely like I feel like I had the right to be upset at the time, but
Yeah.
I definitely like reacted like almost overreacted more, and I didn't like really know why, especially for like how I am as a person. Like I don't really like I'll confront people, but not in a way that it's like fighting with them. Like I'll tell them if like
Mhm.
I'm upset, but it was just like this time it was just not as I don't know, it wasn't like me or like how my personality was, and I didn't like
Yeah.
I don't know, like now like that you bring it up, like thinking about it, I feel like it makes sense. Like I was kind of confused why I got so upset, but I
Yeah.
feel like whenever I think about like feeling it in the past, like it was like I think it was like very bad in the past, and like I just like didn't really realize my feelings.
Yeah, it sounds and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like the way that your boyfriend made you feel this weekend, whether it was understandable or not. It sounds like even just that feeling that came with it was really triggering to you from some things that might have happened in the past.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think so a lot too. And like, I think if I hadn't felt like that in the past, like it probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Yeah.
just with like everything with my mom that's happened, I feel like it definitely just kind of strung the wrong string.
Yeah, definitely. It almost sounds like there's some unresolved business that you might have with your mom. Like there are still some feelings that are left over from your childhood. And typically, I don't really like to focus on past events. However, I do feel like in this instance, it's really affecting you right now and in your own environment. So I do think it's important to acknowledge that. Does that sound correct? Like that there might be some closure that you're craving or hoping you had with your mom that you never got?
Yeah, I think for sure. Like I think I definitely like kind of pushed it to the back and like just thought I was kind of over with it,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't like realize how much it's like affecting me now. And like I don't know, I feel like I never like really dealt with it, or
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, I feel like I just tried to like kind of put it in the closet and brush it off, like not
Yeah.
really kind of feel like let myself feel those emotions.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense that you're still having some of those same emotions that are sort of left over from those childhood experiences, and it's sort of bleeding into your life right now into other relationships, and it's causing a lot of maybe just like anxiety around relationships that you might not need to be so anxious about there, because our emotions, they're never bad, they're always just trying to warn us. And it just sounds like the way you grew up, your body is really ready to warn you against these maybe red flags that seem like you're not going to be important to this person. So what I want to do with you, if you're okay with this, I want to try something by by bringing your mom into the session. Like I know obviously she can't be here physically, but I'm going to leave the screen for a second, and I want you to imagine that your mom is sitting right here. And I'd really like you to just tell her how you're feeling right now and how you felt in the past, and how her alcoholism maybe made you feel like less of a priority to her. Does that sound like something you're comfortable doing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna leave and just give you about like 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'll come right back.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Mom. I just kind of wanted to talk about like how you made me feel in my past, and like I think it kind of made me feel like you picked like alcohol over me, and I think it's like really affecting me now in my relationships, and it's not like any grudge I hold towards you, but um I think it definitely affected how I can relate to people and how close I can get to people, and it's definitely giving me like a lot of anxiety in relationships. Um but it's not like anything that I hold against you again, but I still love you and I miss you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jane. Um, how did that feel, saying those things to your mom, maybe even for the first time, getting that off your chest to her?
it definitely felt good. Like it felt good to like kind of let her know how I'm feeling and just like definitely just like more open about my emotions, which I'm not usually open about.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I definitely think it's a start for being
Yeah,
open.
good. Good. And I just want to remind you that while you might be experiencing some of this anxiety right now relationally, it's not a part of you permanently, and this will not be a challenge for the rest of your life. And I really do believe that this is something that you can work through just by bringing more awareness to the problem.